Hi there, Lindsay here, the Frugal Crafter. Today we are going to make this layered watercolor card. It's super easy, and I'm using this gorgeous stamp set from Stampin' Up, the one I just showed you on my haul. It's called By the Tide, and I'll have links to all this stuff in the video description, so make sure you check it out. I'm also going to use a couple other stamp sets and these watercolor crayons. You can use any watercolor crayon, a watercolor pencil, whatever you have. And I am using watercolor paper, and this is the stuff I showed you in my last haul that I got at AC Moore on sale. And I took one sheet, which was 9 by 12, and I cut it into 3 cards, so it makes 3 3-inch by 4-inch cards, which is kind of a fun, unique size, and I thought that would be really fun to create with. So let's start with one of these blank ones and make this card. I recommend you open up your card like this. It's just a little easier to work on because this is such a thick watercolor paper. And we're going to start off with the background, which is a script stamp. And what I did was I just put it on this. I put both of the background stamps on one block, and I just dipped this just for a second into some water. This is a LYRA watercolor crayon, very affordable, but whatever kind you have is going to be fine. Caran d'Ache will be beautiful. The old Stampin' Up ones will be fine. The Carrot Acryl will be great. Any of them. So then I'm just going to give this a little spritz. I'm going to do it kind of. I think you can see that off camera a little bit. I don't want to spray my my work, but I wanted to kind of show you there. And I'm going to stamp it 3 times. So first time very lightly, second time with a little more pressure, and then the third time, you know, with quite a bit of pressure. And I could maybe even get like a 4th one in there. See, so you can really get a lot from one of these. Now, since I don't have any really light colors in this set of, what is this, a 24 set I think I have? LYRA, I don't see how many, 24 pieces. So I just have the 24 set here, so I'm going to have to mix my colors to make it light enough. So what I'm doing is taking a little white and going over my, my stamp. It's kind of like some coral, and I dipped it, and I went over there. And that's just going to make the other colors I put on top more pastel. And let's see, I want to use a little pale blue. Again, approximate this with whatever you have. Watercolor pencils, especially if you have the ones without the wood casing, Inktense blocks, any of those are going to work great. And I just want to kind of dull that down a little bit, so I'm going to use a little black, but it's going to mix with what we already have, so I'll get like a gray, so, you know, don't worry about that. It's going to be pretty light. Again, I'm going to mist it. Let me just move that out of the way. Let's see, can you see that if I do that? Like, what I like to do is just kind of mist it and bring it through the mist, like twice. Okay, and I'm going to stamp that here, kind of going off the edge. Now you can get 3 cards from one of these, and if that comes out a little too dark for you, simply take a paper towel and blot it. You can, don't rub it because you don't want to smear it, but just blot it. And so you can lighten it up quite a bit. And you could actually, I can actually get another impression. So what I might do is take this other card here, because, you know, I think it's a great tip to do like 2 or 3 cards at a time. More than that, you might get a little bored with it, but, you know, something like this where this works out perfectly to 3 cards. It makes 3, I quoted wrong at first. It's 3 like 4 by 4.5 inch cards. So you might as well do a couple at once, I think, anyway. Stamp this a couple times. So I'm just gonna, I'll just do this right now while we're at it, while we're right here. There we go. And I'm just going to set that aside to dry. Okay, so now what we're going to do is add a few more elements. This is, since I blotted it, it's fairly dry. I'm just going to stamp this lobster that came in the kit. I think it's so adorable. I'm using this kind of tomatoey red color, dipping it in the water for a second, and coloring. And sometimes you need to dip it again if you don't see any pigment being released. I know it's probably hard to see on this red rubber stamp with the red crayon. Now the Stampin' Up stamps are already punched out, so you don't have to trim them anymore. Remember how you used to have to do that? However, a lot of times I'll go in and trim them a little closely. I haven't done that with this, but you know, sometimes you just need to trim a little bit more, just on how you like to stamp, how you like your stamps done. I'm taking a little of this like crimson-y color and adding that in there as well. Okay, you want to make sure you don't have this one too juicy because you want a lot of detail, so I'm just going to like mist it once. And I just kind of swoosh it through the misty air. And then that's going to go right up here, kind of in the corner. And, you know, give it a chance for the ink to go off the stamp and onto your surface. There we go. And let's see, I think I want to put, this is cute little, almost looks like a postmark. Gonna color that in there. And I think I'm going to use a little bit of black. And I don't think I'm going to stamp it. I missed it right yet. I'm going to try stamping it here where I know I'm going to have a tag just in case it doesn't come out good. It came out pretty well, so then I'll stamp it up here where I know it's going to show. There, that looks pretty cool. I love this look. You can use ink pads. If you don't like the loosey-goosiness of it, go ahead and use an ink pad. Not a problem. All right, so this stamp here, and I have my sentiment on one side and this one here, it's one of the clear stamps from the Perpetual Birthday set, Perpetual Birthday Calendar. And I didn't get this to make a calendar. I got this because I loved all these little bitty background stamps because they're perfect for like doing the edges. Like if you're making a card and you've got the background card, the cardstock, and then you're layering a big panel, you see that edge, but maybe you don't want to waste a sheet of pattern paper. You get one of those little stamps and you just stamp along the edge, and when you put your layer on top, it looks like you have a sheet of pattern paper under there. It looks fantastic. So that's why I got this set, in case you're curious. I didn't get it to make a calendar. So you can use these crayons on the photopolymer. I will say they usually, excuse me, I'm still a little froggy. They do work better on rubber because rubber has a little more tooth, but these work great, especially something like this where it's a grungy like paint splatter. And I'm gonna miss this because I want to make sure it's nice and juicy. And I'm just gonna go around and give it some splashes of ink here. All right, now I like that. You could do less, more. You could actually flick. If you didn't have that stamp, you could just load up your paintbrush and flick it on there. Totally fine. And now we're going to set this aside and let it dry, and I'm going to stamp the sentiment. And I got a scrap of cardstock right here. And I accidentally stamped huge congrats because it's like the same layout as Time to Celebrate. I grabbed the wrong one because they're clear. That happens. I probably would have done the same thing if it was rubber. And I'm going to use some navy ink. I'm just going to ink up the Time to Celebrate here. Inking it up off camera because I've run out of space awfully quickly here. And I am just going to try to line it up here. Don't mind my big head in the way. Hope you don't mind. There we go. And what I normally would do is just go over to the paper trimmer and trim that, but I'm just going to cut this out by hand. I'm going to eyeball it. I think I can get a pretty good straight cut there because the way that the letters are all lined up, it's pretty easy to just trim it by hand. And you guys have been so enably to me lately. Every time I mention that I want to scan and cut, you guys are like, yeah, Lindsay, you totally should. You guys are enablers. Oh, I know. You're paying me back, aren't you? Because I'm probably enabling you right now. You're like, I want those stamps. I love the nautical stuff where my, excuse me, I'm so sorry. My nephew's birthday is today. And like I mentioned yesterday, he's got the bounce house, so we'll see if I can resist. I love bounce houses, just like I love rides at the fair until I get sick. But yeah, if I'm complaining tomorrow that I'm sore, it's because I got the bounce house. Whiplash. Oh, by the way, tomorrow, if you're watching this on Sunday anyway, tomorrow I'll be doing a live show, Ask a Crafter. We're going to bring it back. We're going to do it live, and don't worry if you miss it because we will have a replay. So it will replay if you can't make it. But it will be at 1:30 p.m. Eastern Time tomorrow, Monday. That would be the 28th. All right, I'm going to put that right there with a little foam tape. Oh, these word stamps, you know what these are from? These are from the Watercolor Wishes Stampin' Up kit. Remember I demoed that? Fantastic sentiment stamps. Now, and so are these pop dots. Here's a tip. On the edge, this is not throwaway. You do not have to throw away this extra stuff on the edge. Pull it off, just tear it off and use that. Especially if you're doing like layers and things like that. There's no point to waste it. It's perfectly good foam tape. It's just not cut into the perfect little hexagons. So don't waste the edges. And the thing I do like about their dimensionals is that they have them hexagons instead of circles, so you don't have all that waste. But if you do get the kinds that are circles from like another company or whatever, use the stuff in between. Just cut it up or tear it up and use it to raise up and adhere whatever you want. So there's no need to waste it in any event. And there we go. I think that's fun. I really enjoyed that. So I'll have to use my envelope generator to make an envelope for this. For some reason I was thinking it was going to be 2 inches by 3 inches or 3 inches by 4 inches. I completely goofed up that's what I put in. I put 4 by 3 because that's what I thought it was going to be. You see that? No, I need this to be, I gotta measure it. Sometimes I'm a dingbat, especially when math is involved. So I'm going to measure this. So these I made that one 9 by 12 sheet of paper made 3 4-inch by 4.5 inch cards. So I'm going to put in 4 by 4.5. Oh, look, I don't even have to figure a decimal. They're so good. 4.5, there we go. And that's inches, not centimeters, and generate. Let's see. So I need to get a piece of paper, 7 1/4 and a square, and then I need to punch it at that guideline, and that's what I'm gonna do. But you don't need to see me do that because you just saw me do that when I did this, when I told you about this app the other day. But I just want to tell you about that. I'm so excited. I am excited about that. It's like the most exciting app that I've got for this phone. I got this phone in June, so that's my big thrill for the week, I guess. So there you have it. Oh, here's a tip for you guys. So using the watercolor crayons, you don't need watercolor paper. It does work great on watercolor paper, but look at these examples here. These were just done on cardstock. Okay, these were in, if you've got a card base all folded, like maybe using the really heavyweight Michael stuff, which is fantastic for this. But maybe you're a little shy to stamp right on your card, get some scraps out of your scrap, and I'll show you how I keep mine. I keep all my scraps in this little coupon organizer, and I just tuck in any little pieces of anything white or cream go in here, and then I just grab it, and this is what I stamp on most of the time. I try to keep it organized so I know what kind of paper it is, because some things are better for markers and some things are better for watercolors. But anyway, so just play with it and get a feel for it on your scrap paper, and then any good ones, just cut them out and put them on a tag. I cut that by hand. I don't have a scan and cut. So I was thinking, wouldn't that be good? Actually, I don't know if it would cut around that very well if I stamped it with a watercolor, so I don't need one. I don't need one, guys. I want one, but I don't need one. And this actually, I think this might have been watercolor paper or Bristol board. I'm not 100% sure. But practice on your scraps, practice on bookmarks, you know, just have some fun with this technique. Don't get worked up about it because it's not going to be perfect. But that's why it's so pretty, because it's not perfect. It looks like you watercolored it. And I just think that's a fantastic look. I want to thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed this project, please share it with your friends on Pinterest, Facebook, Twitter, wherever you like to share things. Please put a thumbs up if you like this video. I suppose you could put a thumbs down if you didn't like it, but you probably still wouldn't be here if you didn't like it. And I will catch you tomorrow for live Ask a Crafter. Till then, thanks for stopping by, and until next time, happy crafting.